Hello, yes, it's Joe here for joyridertv, live from the Wildwind Boat Park here at Wildwind on the Greek island of Lefkos, and there are things happening even as we speak. So let's dive in and have a look at what's happening straight off. So if you have got a boat which generally has got a high rig tension, which could be anything such as a Hobie Tiger, an FX1, perhaps like this is a Pacific, and the rig tension has been sitting quite comfortably. Hi Damien. Or it could be a Hobie Pearl. If you've lost your rig tension without any explanation of why, then why could that be? Drop the mast just to check, because as we've checked just here, we dropped the mast to find that. Hi Robin, hi Valentine, who sailing in the Open Dutch Championships on an accurate F18 Infusion Mark III. Nice. Yeah, so here we can see the central rod, hi Ewan, of the Dolphin Striker has penetrated the ball, and that has meant, hi Kuro, 5150. Nice to have you on board. So that has meant that all the rig tension came off. Yeah, you're right, Ollie. But just wait and see what's next. And that central part, don't know if you can see that, has penetrated the mast base, causing quite a juicy hole. Hi, Stephen. Just arrived. Have you just arrived? Ah, fantastic. Congratulations. Nice. Okay, so, yeah, I know. That's quite a juicy one at this time of the day. And also news just in at the Wildwind Boat Park is, is this week we have got the Ionian Regatta, which is where we're sending all of our faster catamarans out to sea, to race around a small island, and this is coinciding with the biggest meteorological event of the year probably happening in this area, where there is a massive, I think they call it a medicane, is that what it's called, which is like hurricane strength wind in the Mediterranean, apparently. That's what it's called. So there's something like that out there, and we're going to be sending the boats out into the jaws of the lion tomorrow, which is of course very exciting and perhaps a bit foolish. So we'll see how that goes. But here we are. What have I done? Been thinking, can we have a video on Hobie 16 rig tension setting? Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we've actually done that yet, but not a specific video. I think we did the Hobie 16 rig tuning video, which was very interesting. Yeah, perhaps it's time for a fresh one. Sorry, I'm just positioning the old doodah here. Yeah, so we could certainly have a look at that, the jib halyard tension on the 16, and how and when to adjust that bad boy there. Fantastic. I keep pressing something. What else have we got in here? Yeah, okay, Ewan, what is the fastest speed you've ever seen in the September Speed Stick? Yeah, in the September Speed Stick specifically, the fastest speed that we've done is actually the one that we got on that big day where the video was from, which has been quite popular, where I capsized twice, where we did 25.3 something knots, which is, I think that's the fastest speed we've ever had in the September Speed Stick. And yeah, because usually at the start of September I hold back a little bit to not to blow my own speed trumpet or anything, but to give everybody else a chance to be sat on the top of the board for a bit. But last year I got stung by that, by there only being wind of that strength at the start of the month. So I thought I'd just go and smash it straight off. Oh, Guido, where's the place you sail most of the time? This is Vasiliki on the island of Lefkos in Greece. It's a very good place for sailing. Most days we're getting very good conditions, but somebody has broken the champagne sailing conditions in the last couple of days. There is a bit of weather about, and yeah, it's not been champagne today or yesterday, and tomorrow it might be bonkers. All right, sorry, I'm just going to scroll back a little bit here. All right, just going back to Stephen, or is that Stephen? When you raise the jib before the main, no idea what is best. Not sure if it matters if you go fast. When you raise the jib before the main, no, don't. If that's a rigging question, then I always used to hoist the jib first and then the main, but when it's been really windy and I've been rigging up, I've been generally pulling the main up first, just so you don't have the jib smacking you in the back of the head all the time when you're pulling the mainsail up. And I've started since then always pulling the mainsail up first, just because it's nice not to have the jib in the way, and I find it a lot easier. All right, scrolling back. Not just, yeah, yes, that was not just this year, that's the fastest we've had on the September speed stick ever. And when we're talking September speed stick, that's the competition that we're running here in Vasiliki just in the month of September. But on the global speed stick, the fastest speed is set by, I think his name is Trey, who is in Florida, and he got 26 knots on a Hobie 16. And that's the biggest speed that we've had on the global speed stick. So that is the one that's out there to beat. Okay, so yeah, it's going to take some beating though. Perhaps if you've got a foiling boat, that might do it. All right, we've got Brad. Hello Brad, nice to have you on board. What's up? Prindle Sailing in Cleveland. It's going well. Thanks for the rigging tips. I'm glad that the rigging tips have helped. I really don't know much about Prindles, but I'm glad that what I could come up with, or how you could apply the Hobie 16 knowledge to the Prindle, has been helping. There's just a bit, all right. We've just got sort of like the circus is in town a little bit, dropping a Pacific mast over here to check another one, since we had one which was looking pretty ugly. Yeah, I think these guys have got it going on. All right, so scrolling back. All right, so I love Windex, nice. What main sheet purchase do you have? Depends on the type of boat which is being used. On the Hobie 16, always a 6-to-1. That has got to be the industry standard Hobie 16 purchase system. On a boat which has got a taller mainsail, such as an F18 or similar, then we're moving up to an 8-to-1. And then with a boat with a bigger sail, like on the Tornado here, and in fact, you're not going to believe this, we can have a look at one. We're using a 10-to-1 purchase system just here. Is this 10? Yeah, this is 10. So this is a very nice, this rope is fantastic, by the way. This is Maffioli Swift cord, and this is 9mm. It's quite expensive, and it takes a little bit of time to wear in to get rid of that slippery outer, but when it gets to this stage, it is so nice in the hands, runs well through the blocks, It's light, doesn't absorb water, and it's very good. But that's a 10 to 1 on the Tornado, 8 to 1 on the F18, 6 to 1 on the Hobie 16. I believe 6 to 1 would also... is there anybody there with a Hobie 18 Classic? What purchase system do you run on your Classic? There's a question. All right, scrolling back. I like these questions that are quite easy to answer like that. Hayden, random question. Hello, Hayden. That I can't find an answer to. What does the Dolphin Striker do? All right, let's take a look at that. We're just, in fact, we'll use a Hobie 15 to answer this one because it's going to be the easiest to actually see the Dolphin Striker. Here we go. Flip this bad boy around. There we go. So there's the Dolphin Striker. And if we can see, obviously the mast is sat in the middle of the beam and all the pressure from the rig is pushing down at that point. If there wasn't a Dolphin Striker on the boat, then there's a chance that the beam would struggle taking that amount of load, and it might start, well, it's got a bend in it at the moment. It might bend to straight or even bend the wrong way downwards, and then eventually it could crack and break. So that Dolphin Striker, the main purpose for that is to provide extra strength and stability to the front beam. We can also use the Dolphin Striker to alter the curve in the beam, and by curving the front beam more, it's going to pull the front of the boat in, and by having less curve in the front beam, it's going to put the front of the boat more parallel. So there we go. That is what the Dolphin Striker does. But also it gets those annoying dolphins out of the way when you're sailing in dolphin infested waters, like here in Vasiliki Bay. Dolphins everywhere. There we go. Here's two key operators. We've got Seb and we've got Ash. Hello. Just coming from dropping some masts. Oh, and of course we've got Rory. Hello. He's a strong player. He's actually our designated foiling instructor here at Wild Wind Sailing Holidays Beach Club and Resort. He does a great job. Okay, scrolling back. Scrolling back, okay. Ewan, better to start racing on your own in a monohull or as a crew on a Hobie 16? That is also, wow, that's a good question. I think let's call that monohull on your own a laser. I think it's very much an in at the deep end kind of thing to, if you can already handle a laser or similar, go and get involved in some local club racing, and it's a really good way of improving your sailing skills. I'd say that's got to be an absolutely great way of getting into racing. But what a lot of people do is what I did when I was young, is started crewing for somebody, and then you benefit from the knowledge of the person that you're sailing from, and by asking questions as you're sailing around the course, you're kind of getting a lesson in racing. Whereas if you're sailing a single-hander, you're kind of having to work it out for yourself a little bit, or perhaps use some resources like books or online videos or something to learn about the racing before you go out there. So both methods make a lot of sense and are very good for getting into racing. But the main thing is, as soon as you feel that you're at a stage in your sailing where you've got basic control of your boat and you can tack, you can jibe, you can get around the course, then at club racing level, that's a good, you know, you might as well just jump in, because the sooner you get into some racing, the sooner you can really improve your technique. Because in racing, that's when you really know if you're sailing the boat well, or perhaps you're making mistakes and you could be going faster. There we are. Good. That's a very good question. Thank you very much. All right. So just scrolling back, by the way. That was a question from Ewan. Well done, Ewan. Nice question. Oh, here we go. Hayden says it's nice to have a skipper or crew that is more experienced than you, so they can. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. So perhaps a good way would be to do a few races as a crew to get the basics, and then have a go on your own. Hayden, failing a lot, then solo can be really fun. Oh, Hayden is saying exactly what I said. Very good. We're all reading off the same page here. Hello, James. Nice to have you on board. As always. All right. Let's see where we are. It did rain there a little bit, actually. Just have to let you know that someone has definitely broken the weather here, which generally means in Northern Europe, the weather's probably quite nice at the moment. Okay, Kevin asks, best time of the year to visit Wildwind for a vacation? I'd say depends if you're coming as a solo traveller or as a just adults, or if you're coming with a whole family with kids. For kids, it's obviously the school holidays is the best time, which would be from the middle of July to the end of August. But the best times, if you're not coming with kids, and some people prefer to go on holiday when there's not kids about. We don't have a lot of kids here generally, usually something like, I don't know, around 10 to 15 kids on any given week. July and August are by far the most consistent for the wind, and also we're getting less of the really focused cat sailors out here at that time. So there's even though it is our busiest time of year, there's always boats available, and the sailing conditions are absolute glamour. But either side of that, so end of June, start of July, very good, very consistent conditions. Start of September, very consistent conditions. But once we hit mid-September, or if we're talking May, then we get a bit less consistency with the wind. So I would certainly, if you're coming from the States especially, you want to make your journey really have the most effect. So from the middle of July till the middle of September is the sweet spot for the wind. But later in the season, the water's warmer. Earlier in the season, the water's a bit colder. So if you really want the good stuff, then from July onwards is when the water's getting nice and warm. But the air temperature is warm throughout the season there. Okay. Steve-O FX1, hello sailor. Hi Steve-O, always a pleasure to have you on board. I love Windex. I want to see a video of you sailing. Opti. Oh, did somebody spot that I had an Optimist just here? Where's the finger? That is an Optimist, which is a children's boat, and I think I would, these days I'd be a little bit big for it. But yes, it would be, I'm sure it would be an absolute hoot. All right, scrolling back. Okay, I think Hayden and Ewan are just having a chat there. That's fine. Steve-O FX1, any tips on stopping the kite sheets hanging on the water after dropping the kite on an FX1? No, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, where the sheets go over the front beam into the water and you have to do some more tidying up, which can be a bit of a bind. Nothing really, other than after you've dropped the kite, just pull all the kite sheet, just sheet it all in. That is my only suggestion there. There's no sort of tricks to it at all. I've seen people put extra lines coming from the spinnaker so the kite sheet gets taken into the chute with the spinnaker, but in my opinion there's so many things on the spinnaker that could get snagged already. Adding more lines to it is just adding more potential for the snaggage, and you don't want any more snag potential than you've already got. So the only thing you can do, kite down, pull the sheets tight once the kite's all the way in, and chuck the sheets on the trampoline, and then off you go. It is an extra thing to do, but what I would generally do myself is, if I get, perhaps I'm coming around the leeward mark, out on the trapeze after dropping the kite, get the boat going, and then from out on the trapeze, once I've got it stable, then lean in, grab the kite sheet, give it a good yank, and then hopefully that should do the trick. Sorry that I haven't got any tricks there, Steve-O, on that topic. Then we got Eric. Hello, Eric. Eric just hit his new top speed on, what is that, on a Hobie 16 Solo 20.4. Nice. That is fantastic. Make sure you've, if you haven't already, send me the details to the email address, and I'll get the speed stick updated there. Over 20 knots single-handed on a 16 is seriously sending it. So very well done for that there, Eric. I'm liking to think that maybe the how to sail faster single-handed on the 16 video might have helped. I just hope that I had something to do with your success, but that is a success. So solo sailing on a 16, target speed 20 knots. That's your homework assignment, all 16 sailors. And I think we need some more Prindle speed records from the Prindle 15s, the asymmetric hulled Prindles, the 15s, 16s and 18s. So if you're sailing any of those boats, then let's have your results. Interested to see how those bad boys go. All right. Kuro 5150. We just got the Inter 18 and already had a writing nightmare. Our combined weight should have been enough, yes. Yeah, possibly the writing line might have been too short, because what you want is for the heavier person to be on the line first and to be as close to the water as possible, but so they're definitely not floating, and then the next person on the rope just above, so pretty much lying. So if you use the hook on your trapeze harness and have a knot in the writing line, which is going to put you in exactly the right spot, and then that means you're not going to really kill your arms having the other person kind of resting on you a bit on the line as well. Having the boat pointing the right way is absolutely crucial as well. So if the boat isn't pointing into the wind, so you want the wind blowing onto the forestay first, and then that's going to help to unstick the mainsail from the water, that is going to bring the boat back upright more easily. So if you can't get the boat to turn into the wind, on a boat like an Inter 18, the bigger boats with more volume, it can be necessary to actually have one person on the boat actually kind of sitting on the bow, dragging in the water a bit, to put enough drag on the bow of the boat to get it to pivot into the wind. But definitely you need to get as low to the water as possible, but not floating, to be able to bring one of those bad boys up, unless there is a decent amount of wind. Also, it could be, I hate to say this, but it could be that water got into your mast. If the boat was inverted, then water could get into the mast, which would make it very difficult to bring the boat back upright. But hopefully next time, I think a good thing to do Perhaps next time you go to where you keep your boat, and perhaps there's you get down there with the intention of going sailing and there's no wind, then perhaps it's worth launching the boat, tipping the boat onto its side, and just practicing bringing the boat upright. With 160 kilos, you should definitely be able to bring the boat upright in no wind. Just that will really help your confidence for next time you go sailing when it's windy. All right, scrolling back. I'm still scrolling back. There's quite a lot in here. All right, Robin, where does the boom usually pull down to on a 16 with my new crisp sail? Mine is barely below the notch, seems too high. Yeah, it might depend a bit on if your sail is, I don't know if that was you, Robin, that had one of these new intensity mainsails, which with a non-Hobie mainsail it might end up somewhere different. But let's go and have a look at a 16. Oh, it is one of those. Yeah, so it might be slightly different on one of those sails and not come down quite as far, but it definitely wants to be sat, the boom wants to be sat below the cutout on the mast with no downhaul on, or with a minimal amount of downhaul on, because otherwise it could lead to difficulties. Right, here we've got a Hobie 16, of course, and here we've got the cutout in the mast. Now this plate we've actually put on because of this problem with the gooseneck slider coming out, and it really mangled the entrance to the mast track. So we've taken a piece of metal, shaped it, riveted it on. Yeah, with a stock Hobie mainsail, the boom is coming down to the top of the silver warning sticker there. Check, I did a video on downhaul measurements on the 16. So if you haven't got this silver sticker, if yours is a US boat, maybe you don't have this, but that's where the boom comes down to with full downhaul on a European 16 with the original sail. But you certainly want to be getting the boom slider with minimum downhaul on, at least a good 10-15 centimeters below the cutout when it's on minimum. That would be ideal. But of course, with a non-standard sail, it's not always possible. What you could do to avoid the problem with having the boom slider too close to the entrance of the mast track is you could add another shackle or put a longer link where the boom attaches to the tack of the sail, so that then your boom will sit a little bit lower down. Or you could even put some a piece of rope between the tack of the sail and the top of the boom, just to make sure you've got enough distance there between do you get what I mean? Between the entrance of the mast and the boom slider, so you're not risking the slider coming out there. Perhaps that could work. All right, just going to scroll back here. All right, scrolling back. A lot of scrolling already. I think it's a big day. All right, and we've got Henry. Hi Henry, nice to have you on board. Went for my first ever sail with a friend this weekend. We got 13 knots in his laser 2000 in Norfolk. Fair to say I'm hooked. Found your channel and loving the content, loving the fact that you're here, Henry. Good on you. I think there is a lot to learn about any type of sailing, but I'm obviously focusing on catamaran sailing, but all of the fundamentals are the same for any type of sailing boat, whether it's a catamaran, whether it's an optimist, a laser, a yacht or a keel boat. It's all the same fundamentally. Hi Christian G13, nice to have you on board here live. I think you usually tune in towards the end, but nice to have you here a bit earlier. Okay, Hayden, makes sense. I'm going to get my first cat looking at a 14, nice. And wanted to know why they didn't have one. If I wanted to add a trapeze wire, I'd probably have to add a dolphin striker. Yeah, I think that's the common thing with the older 14s didn't have the dolphin striker because the load in the rig isn't quite as much as on the bigger boats. Okay, all right, I'm going to come back to this. We've got just coming in for his last visit. We've got Pirate Sam, famous for being out there on the big Send It day. And it's actually, Sam's leaving us. He's going back to the UK.
Yeah, that's my specific problem for today.
Specific problem, got to leave. Yeah. Well, I think the whole of the Joyrider global community are going to bid you a farewell, safe journey, and thanks for giving it as much as you did.
Yeah, see you next year.
Cool, nice one, man. Full power. All right, have a good trip. If it rains, tell the driver to drive really slowly because of the greasy roads. He might forget, he's only young. Oh, Steve-O says, hope to see you next year, Sam. Nice. All right. That's the problem when you live in a place where people come and go so often. Tearful goodbyes every day of the week. Yeah, so there is a Dolphin Striker kit for the Hobie 14, which can be fitted afterwards. And yeah, I think if you're going to add a trapeze, it does put more pressure through the front beam. So adding a Dolphin Striker would be a good idea. Or you could, it might be more straightforward. Maybe, I don't know, if somebody's got a Hobie 14 which has got maybe destroyed hulls, you could see if they'd sell the front beam which has got a Dolphin Striker on it. I'm not, don't know, just throwing it out there. All right, scrolling back. Scrolling back. All right, Bongo Fatfari is 6,000 Aussie dollars. Oh, I'll have to check the exchange rate there. What's that in euros or US dollars? An okay price for a used Hobie 16. Yeah, I think the price is all relative to the age of the boat, the condition of the boat, and perhaps what else is being thrown in with the deal. Does it have a launching trolley with the really big wheels? That is a lot of value. Does it have a trailer? That's a lot of value. Does it have a Joyrider TV giving it the beans bottle? If you've got yours yet, it's saving the planet one bottle at a time. Excuse me. Oh, that's good. Oh, it makes your drink taste better as well. You can get them on the totaljoyrider.com online store, by the way. Worthwhile, great way of supporting the channel. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure how much 6,000 Australian dollars is, but I'd say a good price. Well, if you want a really good Hobie 16, I would say they probably start at about €2,500, $2,500. I think for that money, that's when the sort of slightly newer boats, which probably have less things that need doing to them, would start. So want, of course, check the condition of the sails, the trampoline, what rudder blades does it have? That's big for me, the rudder blades, because it's all about the steering. What main sheet does it have? Does it have the new style, well, say new, from the last 20 years, the Harken 6-to-1 main sheet system. So there's a few things. But if you would like to send me the a link to the advert for the boat that you're looking at, I can take a look at that and let you know. But for that, if you would to do that in an email, that would be ideal. All right, scrolling back. It's all right, we're scrolling back. All right, Stephen, I think a good crew makes all the difference to a boat's sailing. I think so too. However, that is another one of these great selling points of the Hobie 16 or similar boats like the Prindle 16, Prindle 18, the very simple boats. Because for somebody who's got a reasonable amount of athleticism, or somebody who's a windsurfer, or somebody who can stand on one leg for more than 10 seconds, they can learn to trapeze reasonably easily. And that is one of the main parts of crewing a boat like that, a very simple boat. And you can sail with anyone. When I was living in the UK racing a Dart 18, if I didn't have a crew, maybe I'd be out in a disco the night before the racing, and perhaps with the ladies sometimes say, do you want to come out on my sailing boat tomorrow? They might have this illusion that it's going to be a yacht, but in fact it's a Dart 18 and they have to wear a trapeze harness and a wetsuit. They'd be a little bit disappointed, perhaps no gin and tonic on board. But and they'd be on the start line of a race the next day, having never been on a boat before. It's a great thing about catsailing is you can have a crew who's a complete beginner on a race course. Very nice. But a good crew does make a massive difference as well, of course, especially if you're sending it in the higher winds. Jeffrey, morning from Hale, Michigan. Wow. I remember the morning. It's a tough one. Hi, Tom. Nice to have you on board, as always. Always good to hear from you. We've got Russell. Kite sheets, put a tiny bit. Oh, here we go. This is some solid gold coming here from Russell, who we saw at the start of Show Us Your Cat the weekend before last. Put a tiny bit of one side adhesive Velcro on the beam and place a spinnaker sheet on it when not in use. That is a good tip. Stop your spinnaker sheet from going in the water. I'm going to try that actually. That sounds like a very, very good idea. And then we've got Nico, which is the most competitive F18? Well, I think at the moment there's just been the launch of the Nacra Evolution, which I've never, well, because it's so new, I've never actually seen one in real life. But from what I'm told, it is, as these new boats are coming out, they do tend to be a little bit more competitive each time. And the Nacra Evolution is the latest F18 to come out, as far as I know, unless someone's just brought out another one. But as well as that, of course, the Goodall Design C2 has been a very consistent performer on the F18 circuit, as has the Edge by Windrush Catamarans, another Australian design. And of course the Exploder, is it called a Scorpion? Exploder Scorpion F18, which I think in last year's Worlds, I think an Exploder came first and second. So there are some big designs out there. All right, scrolling back. Good question. It's good to have these questions and some answers. All right, scrolling back. All right, Ewan, where I sail is really inconsistent wind. Gusty, never the same day to day. Any tips for making low wind training more fun? Yeah, I think go out with a purpose. Have a course that you're going to sail, or definitely a destination. All right, hold on. I've got Chris here. WTF, man, answer me. Chris, I'm going through the comments in the order of which they came in, and All right, I'm going to scroll back to the top just to make sure I haven't missed your question. But I'm answering the questions in the order of which they came in. So don't hit me with a WTF, man. I'm doing the best that I can. All right. Sorry about the hold up to proceedings here. Just answering a WTF. This takes me back to a couple of weeks ago. Okay. All right. I was on Ewan's question, and then your question was next, Chris. So if you can hang on just 2 minutes, I'll get on to you shortly. Goodness gracious me. Yeah, so making training more fun in light winds is definitely to have an objective when you go out, and perhaps you could, I think one thing with modern technology, you can make it more interesting if you take a device running something like Strava on there, and if you've got a course, kind of time yourself around the course on Strava and then try to compete with yourself around the course to beat that previous time is a great scheme. Could make it a lot more interesting. Perhaps try doing things completely differently. Perhaps sit on the wrong side of the boat on the downwind, see if you can pop the hull up. But of course, if you do capsize in the light wind, it is very difficult to bring the boat back upright. But just definitely go out with an objective. Just think, what could my objective be today? Perhaps find yourself an imaginary start line between two fixed points, and then off you go. Okay, next we've got Chris. Oh, would you believe, is the Rock a very cruel place? It's the cruelest place, and I think we're heading back to the Rock tomorrow. Don't tell anyone, but we are due to be having the Ionian Regatta tomorrow, but we've got a ridiculous bit of weather on the horizon, so sending the boats out into the jaws of the Lion might be too much. So instead, we might be creating a course using the Rock, that cruel place, as one of the marks, and we might send the boats around the Rock one more time. It's a cruel place. It's a cruel place. Okay, it is a cruel place. There we go, scrolling back. Okay, Russell says, did you give blood today? No, not today. If you're referring to the pink on the arm, that I've got some sort of tendon kind of RSI sort of thing where I've been I know I keep saying you should play the main sheet more, but perhaps I've been playing the main sheet a little bit too much and been wearing out the joints in the elbow, which is really twinging a bit. So I'm having to tone, although there's not been any wind, but I'm having to be a bit more cautious with how much I'm going out sailing, because I really need to recover, and apparently rest is the best way. Okay, Jonathan, I have corrosion pitting and oh dear, no holes. Any thoughts on corrosion repair? Worth it? It's not a field in which I'm in any way even near to being an expert or anything, but I would say you definitely want to nip it in the bud before it gets any worse, because if those corrosion pits do go through, then that could get a bit emotional. I would definitely Google that bad boy, because I'm sure Google has got some really good advice on that sort of corrosion, so check it out. Okay, so we're now up to 45 minutes, so if you could cease any further questions, because as usual I have got to keep this down to 1 hour. That is the limit that I have to put on this, just to keep things under control. Okay, Yeah, I think, yeah, Google with the corrosion. Eric says your videos help tremendously. Thank you very much. Oh, for the high speed, brilliant. Oh, that's great news. It's always nice to know that when I go out and make a video, that it really helps somebody or some people to be able to move on to another level with their sailing. So that is really great to know. That makes it all seem so much more worthwhile. D Pat, hello or bonjour. I believe my information now leads me to believe that D Pat is French. Could this be true? No, the season isn't finished. We've still got another 2.5 weeks remaining in our season. Very exciting times. Ionian Regatta tomorrow, with some fairly dicey looking conditions. So we'll see how that goes, but I'll document that with a video just so you can all have a look, see what it looks like out there. All right, scrolling back. All right, Brad, I would really like to track my speed. I have a smartwatch, but what are you using to get your speeds? I'm unable to find an app or GPS function to do that, period. Yeah, I think if you're happy taking a telephone out on the water in a dry bag or some sort of container that will stop it from getting wet, then I think Strava is definitely well worth looking at. It has got a mode on there for, not that it makes any difference, but for windsurfing, which of course is the same as what we're doing here, and that will draw the map of where you've gone on the water. And perhaps when the dust settles, if I can get out sailing in the winter, I'll download a load of different apps on the phone and we'll do a sort of GPS app comparison type thing. But I'd just go with Strava. It's really good. It works well. It's free. Hello, Bowwave Paul. Always good. Did you? No, I can't believe that. Is there now a GoPro 9 after I've just bought an 8? That's a cruel place to find out you've just missed out on getting the new one. But I did have a result, by the way, with GoPro. My 7 that got killed during the capsize video, it took a while on the GoPro help, what they call it, customer support, but I got through and eventually they accepted that they would replace it under warranty, and just today it's gone off to Holland, which apparently is where their European depot is, and they're going to send me a new one. Lovely. So then more angles coming up. And there we go. Kuro 5150, thanks. Got a bit over eager on the shakedown sail and went looking for the limit, and of course found it. Nice. Yeah, I think it's good to know where the limit is. Okay, Steve-O asked, what did Pirate Sam and the lads win all that beer for? There was a there's some Dutch gentlemen out here, Ronald and Harry. Ronald was, of course, in the Rock is a Cruel Place video from last week. He was on the thumbnail picture as well. And they had a captain's dinner, of which all the staff attended. And there was a quiz. And the winner of the quiz won the beer. 240 cans of beer. Not a bad prize, I'd say. Okay, Shepherd's Home Repair. I believe that to be Scott, I think. Any recommendations to protect the top of the hulls while keeping it from being slippery? I have to watch my... Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so if you put wax on the decks, then it wouldn't get the algae, but you don't want to put the wax on the decks because it makes it slippery. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, this again isn't my field of expertise. We have a similar problem here with the boats turning this kind of brown colour through exposure to water with a heavy mineral content, and we're using this muriatic acid to clean them. In fact, we've had John out this week who's taken it upon himself to clean a boat every day. But yeah, I haven't really got the solution for you there, Scott. Yeah, it's a tough one, but I'm sure someone must have come across this and has some sort of solution. All right, scrolling back. Okay. Savage Sailor 150, can you try a 420? Yeah, there's been a lot of requests for me to go out sailing on a 420, but unfortunately we haven't got one here. In the dinghy range, what we've got is Laser 2000, RS Fever, RS Terror, RS 200, RS 500, RS 100, 29er, but none of the kind of traditional one design boats. Although I was talking to a chap today about maybe getting a contender here. That would be fun. Yeah, so that's why. But I haven't done many dinghy sailing videos, as you probably noticed. Yeah, so no more questions, please, because I'm getting close to the time limit. Pesty Pester, I believe that's Andrew in Florida, riding out a Category 2 hurricane here in Florida. No champagne sailing. Oh my goodness. Right, so yeah, stay safe, everybody, wherever you are. Keep your head down. Panos, Yasure Pano, Puine or Maestro Simera. Yeah, not today. We've taken a few days off the champagne sailing here. It was going to happen at some point. Nowhere can have champagne sailing every day of the year, so we have taken some time off. Yeah, and I think Panos is in line for this. I think it's called a Medicane down in Patra. Okay. Okay, no worries, Chris. Sorry, I knew you were joking, but I was taking it a step further just to be on the safe side. Yeah, I was in trouble there. Cremcap, hey Joe, do you also sail the bigger sailing boats? If how would catsailing help? Well, I don't sail the bigger boats so much, but all of the fundamentals, the theory, you like your points of sail, your sail setting, all that can be applied to any type of sailing. So how you set the sails for going upwind, beam reach, downwind, for example, that's all going to help. Your manoeuvres as well, your awareness on the boat. Because on the bigger boats, like on the cruisers and yachts, you can get away with making a lot of mistakes without knowing about it. Whereas on a smaller boat, like a catamaran or a monohull especially, if you make a mistake, you'll either stop or capsize. So I think that's how it helps. Carlo, Mitico. Not sure what that means, but thanks. Thank you so much. That made my day, Chris. All right, nice one, Chris. Adventurous con El Capi. Hey, I have a Lido 14. What tip can you give me if I capsize? It's very difficult to get it back upright. Yeah, I don't know that particular type of boat, but do check out the capsize writing with the bag video. The bag is a real game changer. If you haven't seen that one, it's basically you take a bag. When you capsize, you attach the bag to your writing line, fill the bag with water, and then you push the bag outboard with your back, which makes you a lot heavier and means you can right a boat which usually you wouldn't be able to bring back upright. So check out the capsize writing with the bag video. I think you could just put that into the search and that will find it. It's a really good one. It really changed my it changed everything about my life, in fact. Creston, put weight on daggerboard and just keep pulling. I believe that is probably about the writing the into 18. Don't stand on the daggerboards on every F18. Some of them have got stronger daggerboards than others. If in doubt, you don't need to stand on the daggerboards, just use good technique. But I did hear that on certain F18s, people stand right on the end of the daggerboard to bring the boat upright from capsized, and the daggerboards just hake it. But if you did that on a Tiger, you'd almost certainly snap the daggerboard. So be careful there. All right, Martin 25. Hi Joe, nice here. Hi Martin, wherever you are. I'm waving. Are you Martin 25? No. Okay, there's someone called Martin. I was just wondering if, I think Martin 25 is Martin who's sailing the C2 in the Ionian. Bow wave Paul, GoPro still need to sort sound for wind and water. Some features missing, not missing much. Okay, that's good to know. Cormac, Hurricane or Spitfire? Ooh, juicy question. I would say depends how big a boat you want. The Hurricane is a big boat. For those of you who don't know, the Hurricane is basically like a narrower tornado, very powerful, and the Hurricane probably will fly the hull in less wind than any other type of catamaran, I think. So the Hurricane is massively powerful, whereas the Spitfire is more like an F18 with shorter hulls. I'd say more like an F18 than an F16 because it's a bit heavier than the F16. So I'd say definitely if you're a lighter team and you want a boat which is perhaps a bit more agile in the corners, a bit more sporty, go Spitfire. If you want a boat which is just all out firepower, then the Hurricane. The Hurricane's got a really good class association. I'm guessing that you're in the UK because the Hurricane and Spitfire are both boats which are sailed in the UK more than anywhere else. But the Hurricane's got a really good class association and active following, good competitions in the UK, but as does the Spitfire. So the Spitfire is designed with a spinnaker, whereas the Hurricane has had the spinnaker added later on. Not that that should make any difference, but the Spitfire is quite a bit lighter as well. Oh, there's Bow Wave Paul, he knows. Good handicap on the Spitfire. Yeah, doing some handicap racing, maybe a good choice. Okay, Kuro 5150, nice to have you on board. See you next week. Cormac, what is your opinion on the Dart 16? The Dart 16 does a great job for what it's designed for, which is getting people into the sailing. It's not going to deliver that sparkling performance that you get on a boat with fiberglass hulls, because the plastic hulled boats are never going to perform as well as the fiberglass ones, because they're not as stiff and they're a bit heavier. Those are the downsides of the plastic, but they do last forever, and very, very durable, very affordable. The Dart 16 has got perhaps not a tremendously powerful rig, so you've got perhaps a better wind range than perhaps other boats on there. It's a lot more durable than the Dart 18, but the Dart 18 is a great boat. If you can look after a boat on land, I would go for the Dart 18 over the 16. The Dart 16 is perhaps more used by training facilities rather than the 18, which is more of a boat if you want to get into the racing. But very good choice, the Dart 16 as a first catamaran. Pesty Pester, Andrew says, I've been using F11 on my hulls. That stuff is awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out. If you could email me with a link to what F11 is, so I don't forget. That'd be great. Cormac should come to Galway Island. Fleet F18 1 Nacra 20. I knew some guys in Galway who sailed catamarans. One was Tommy Smith, another one was Kevin. Can't remember Kevin's surname. Tommy Smith, who had a pub called McSwiggan's, I believe. Great people. Kush, please hit the like button. Yeah, let's have the like button pushed. Let's have the purchase a Joyrider TV bottle pushed. It's working very well. Okay, so CNA 600, what is the best boat for me? Okay, I've done a lot of thinking about this, some soul searching, and up to 20 knots, no, a bit more, up to 25 knots, the Tornado. I love the Tornado, the Classic. Check out Classic versus the C2 video if you haven't seen it yet. I absolutely love the Tornado, hands down, fantastic. Feels great, it's good size. In above 25 knots, I start getting a bit nervous that I'm going to break the Tornado. So that is when the Hobie 16 comes in. For solo sailing, I have so much fun on the Hobie 14. That bad boy just delivers. What a great boat. But there we go. All right, thanks very much, Q&A. Awesome writing poll. Oh, the writing poll is going to have to wait a little bit. Apparently, we're not quite so busy next week here at Wild Wind. Do come out if you're in the area. We're turning the champagne sailing back on next week. So why not pop down? Okay. Arno, hello from Alberta, Canada. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for tuning in and hitting the like button, and thanks for getting involved and being a part of the global Joyrider TV community. It's really nice to be bringing together catamaran sailors of all abilities and nationalities and all of that. It's really nice to be involved. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Okay, Ray, what is the proper procedure for beaching a cat when there is surf and the wind is blowing onshore? Okay, going to give you the quick answer here. If it's a friendly beach, like a sandy beach, and you've got a boat which is durable, like a Hobie 16 or perhaps a plastic boat, come into the beach on the back of a wave and perhaps bring the rudders up before you hit the beach and just drive the boat up the sand, and that can be the best way to do it. If you're on a more fragile boat, a good thing to do would be to lower the mainsail while you're still a distance away from the beach, come in on the jib, and then as soon as you get to the beach, jump off the boat very quickly. Crew gets the trolley, boat on the trolley, up the beach as quick as you can. If there's breaking waves, don't have the rudders pointing into the waves, because if a breaking wave hits your rudders, it could seriously damage your rudder assembly. So get the boat pointing into the waves. Another thing you could do if you didn't want to drop the mainsail out at sea is turn the boat head to wind and bring the rudders up and take the boat into the beach backwards. Check out my sailing backwards video. Basically, rudders up. If you've got dagger boards, get those up as well or out completely. Then helm and crew right to the bow of the boat. Bring the boat in backwards, and that means your rudders are going to be safe. The rudders being possibly the most delicate part of the boat. There we go. That was the quick answer. Jacko, Service Sep. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I bought a used Wildcat. You helped me a lot, thanks. Okay, thanks very much, Jacko, for letting me know. It's always nice to know that the videos are helping. And thanks to everybody for tuning in today. And of course, we'll be back next, whatever day it is, Wednesday, with some more Q&A live from the Wild Wind Boat Park. By the way, I've changed my uploading strategy on the videos. So rather than what I was doing before, which was just spewing videos out randomly. Have a good one, Hayden. Nice one, man. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, where I've just been uploading videos as they've been ready. I'm just going to have one video uploaded every day for this time. So for 5:30 Greek time, 4:30 Central European, 3:30 in the UK, and so on. So there we go. Fair winds to everyone. Fair winds to you too, Ewan. Nice one. Okay, we'll see you next week for some more. Cheers, Pano. Save videos for the winter. Yeah, it's not.